Hello, welcome back to this course, and today we will be looking at continuing from the forms. Previously, we look at some basic introduction to form and how forms will look like. Okay, so today I want us to go more what pro way and make our this more acceptable. Now, what I want to look at is another kind of tag or attribute called the label. Okay, now you see that over here I use username. Okay, I use the word username. Okay, so the username isn't the advisable way to have your form. Okay, so I prefer using what to call a label. Okay, so the label can be used to represent what we place this username we do this username. Okay, so the label can be used to represent what this what username professionally, so your website can be able to do what to read better and then straight away understand what that particular thing is. So we'll go for label. So inside your tag you write what label, then label value. So what do you do inside this username? Okay, so user name. Okay, good. So over the same thing, username is there, then password. Let's change the password to also become into label. So label, then we put in password. Okay, very good. Then the email too, let's take the email out into a label. So label over here, very good. So you put in enter email, right? Very good. So now when you go to the code, it will not mean anything different. Okay, it will just be as the how it was previously. Okay, just that now you are putting the correct words, giving the correct attributes or the correct tag to it. Okay, now so we're also going to look at what you call another thing, another kind of attribute. Okay, or element called the radio. Okay, so in general, when you say the label, okay, the label defines it's used for screen reader users. Okay, because the screen, maybe someone might not be able to let's say a screen reader, someone who can't really see the screen very well. Okay, so you use what the label for the person to know, okay, fine, this particular input is tagged for what label. So I must also put my what email here, my username here, my first name. Okay, now let's move on to what's called radio word buttons. Now radio button, let us select one of a limited number of choices. Okay, maybe you have programming language, you have C plus, JavaScript, you have HTML, you have CSS, you have all that. So you select one of a preferred word choice. So let's go and see the radio. Now the radio, since it's a radio button, that means that we need to put it inside. We need an input for it. Okay, so our input is going to be, okay, I prefer going input like this. The type here is going to be radio. Remember, the type is going to be what? Radio. Okay, now the radio button has all other words attributes to it. Okay, it has an attribute called an ID, a name, and a value. Okay, let's look at them. It has an ID, it has it has a name, and it has a value. Okay, now let me explain to you what the ID is. The ID is a special thing that is used to relate to other words, radio buttons. Okay, so they all have the same. You can link them. Okay, so the ID is used to link them. Now the name over there is used to give particular what this thing is about. Oh, they are programming what languages. Okay, they are programming what language, or they are coding languages. Okay, and the value, okay, is what code it is, or maybe it's HTML, it's a CSS, it's a JavaScript, it's a Python. Okay, so the ID is a special element used to what to link two or more of the radio buttons together. The name defines what category of the radio is it. Is it TVs or is it phones? Then if it's phones, okay, the value, what phone is it? Oh, Samsung phone, it's an iPhone, it's a Nokia, it's a Sony, okay, so that's it, okay. So now let's copy this, all these values over here, no, not to cut, sorry. So let's paste it here. Oh, paste, okay, then let's paste again because we need 3 of them. Paste, okay. Now let's go on. Now ID, the ID of the this of the radio buttons, remember, must be different, okay. So over here, the ID over here is going to be the name of the show. Let me say HTML5, okay, good. Then the name over here is going to be, let's say, languages, okay, languages, okay. Let me get this short, okay, like languages, okay. The value over here is going to be what value it is, okay. Let's say HTML, okay. HTML5 will be the value, okay. So we have ID, special name for ID. The ID can be anything, okay, but I just want to prefer to use the value and the similar distance. Let's come over here too. Now over here we need a label, okay. So okay, fine. You let's come here and let's see. For that I'll show you what something over here. ID over here. Maybe I need Python. So I can say py is my ID. The name over here, remember, okay, the name should be the same. So if the name over here is languages over here, I must use the same word language over here so they can link, okay. Now I'll explain to you why we use the same word name. The value over here could be Python, good. The next one over here, ID. Which ID should I go for? I'll use CSS. The name is going to be the same name, language. Value will be what? CSS3, okay. So over here it goes. So let's go and watch our code and see. Let me see something for you. Now look at our code. Look at, oh, okay. Let me put a break between our email, and then let me put a break between this particular thing so you see what I mean clearly. So a break is here. Now let's go back and let's go and see. Now you see these are dot, but there are no tests to show that this button is for CSS. This button is for what? That's where label comes in, okay. That's where what label comes in. So let's go to our code again and let's give label to our code. So over here I'll put a label here. So inside the code I'll bring label, and into the label now the label over here must also what correspond, okay. So label, now I showed you a tag called the for. So this is where we will need the for attributes over here. So for is going to be radio, okay, radio. So that the radio will correspond with the input type radio, okay. So over here I'll put in HTML5, that's the value, okay, HTML5. Then also I'll copy all these things for because of time, but I'll recommend that you do what you also. So I'll come to over here, benefit, and paste it over here. So I'll change the HTML5 to Python. Then I'll come under here again and paste it within it, okay. So I'll change the here to CSS3, okay. So you see the label for is the same as what radio throughout, okay. I getting this. So I maintain the label, but advisably the label should the for should be the name of what your value, okay. So I prefer that you use the word the value. Okay, so let's go back again to radio, and then let's change it to HTML5, right? Oh no, Python rather. Yeah, Python. So change it to Python. Good, so that it will correspond with Python. Then let's go over here. The radio should be HTML. So make sure that the label for radio button will be the same as the value. Okay, so HTML5. Over here we come to be CSS3. So CSS3. Okay, so let's go and see how this will be looking like. Good, so we have HTML5, Python. So when I check this, I check this, you see that is what is. So let's go and add a heading to it. We need a heading over here, so let me come here and then put some H2 MSO select preferred language. Okay, so let's go and see. All right, so select preferred language over here. I choose Python over here. Now let's go back and see something over here. Now assuming that the name, okay, the name, where is the name? Good. So assuming that let me close this thing. So assuming that the name, okay, over ID and name is changing. Okay, let me change the name to language, different name. Okay, let me come here and change the name of this one to languages. Okay, let me change the name of this one to land. Okay, now let's go and see what will happen. Now nothing I've changed, right? But watch here. I chose this. I have to select preferred language, only one pair, but they are all being selected. You see, so they're all being worked. So this is not what a radio button. Okay, so the importance of you making the name use the same name is very important, as to be able to select only one. Okay, so let's undo it. Let's undo our good. So let's come back here again, and then let's prefer. You see that we're able to select that. Okay, now the next kind of thing we'll be looking in the next video will be what? Check boxes. Okay, check boxes. So we'll look at check boxes in our next video. So make sure you subscribe to this video and like it, and meet me in our next video. Bye bye.